Did you want to do better? Oh. I think you should think twice about giving me that kind of power as well. Oh. It's not real. It's fleeting. It is so nice to be back in Texas after a year and a half of being in Canada. And as we tune up, just want to thank you for making it out here. We're all being as safe as we can be, and we're all trying to look out for each other, and I can appreciate that. Been in Canada for a year and a half, and it's nice to be back here in Texas. Played some great shows already, mostly outdoor, some big ones. And I'm sure glad that we can do this on the internet. I got certain friends that I know are watching all over the place. But I do want to say hi to Pat and Ray Marshall. Thinking about you guys a lot, and I'm so glad you made it tonight. I'll do one of those songs that I know you like, Pat, in a little while. And we'll just have a good show. We don't have any show after us tonight, so I may ramble on quite a bit. Nobody ever claps for that. This is Gabriel Rhodes, everybody. And Gabe has no idea what I'm going to play when. And basically, I'm taking out all of my years of being a sideman before I became a front person on him. And he's taking it like a champ.
I can take it.
He can. I know he can. He does it much more gracefully than I did.
Seems like my vocal's not in the monitor anymore like it was.
Uh-oh.
Hey. Little more. There we go. That'll be good. You didn't change anything, but it's fine. That's good.
That's an old sound person trick. It's like, is that any better? I didn't change anything. This will be a song that Gabriel and I wrote together. That's from my brand new EP, and it's called Murder of Crows. There's the monitor. It just popped back on.
Hey, yeah.
2, 3, 4. Sonny seeks oblivion out beyond the pale, picking up nickels in a hurricane. Sonny's got a soul for sale, but he learns that tone is heavy. Lies run faster than the truth. On the highway, about to blow the tar right off the roof. Beauty shallow, tell the truth till it bleeds. Black feather shadow, tell me what you see. Crows flies with me. Living for dying, yeah, telling what it means. Sunny smiles at dark skies, chasing down endless street. An innocent victim, oh, trying to light the fuse. Smooth sand or gravel, Sonny don't know which path to choose. Beauty shallow, tell the truth till it bleeds. Black feather shadow, throwing caution to the wind. Sonny heard the crows cry. Oh, you're gonna have to start all over again. Beauty shallow, tell the truth till it bleeds. Black feather shadow, tell me what you see. A murder of crows flies with me. A murder of crows flies with me. A murder of crows flies. Oh, with me. All right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Sure, I'll take a sip too. Nothing hits the spot when you're thirsty like water. That's the first song off the new EP that I wrote with Gabriel Rhodes, producer extraordinaire, not just another handsome face. It sure is nice to see a lot of you that I haven't seen in a year and a half and see some new faces too. It's really, really great. Means a lot that you would come out for this. Here's a little song that's the first song off the very first record I did. If you guys go back there and you see there's a picture of a guy who's got like no beard and kind of like a bad Sam Adams haircut. And he's about 20 years younger and about 20 pounds lighter. Rehab's a bitch, but I got through the other side okay, and I'm still here. And but on that first album, I had this song, and I don't know if you guys know this, but years ago I used to play in this band out of New York City that opened up for the band Maroon 5. I know, that's what people always go. They go, ooh. And yeah, it was pretty cool. I was in this rock band, and we played like every house of blues in the country. This was during the Songs About Jane era, you know. And I got to see firsthand like how a major label pushes like a new band and what goes into it and how they market a new band. Because they were like 5 underwear models who could play, basically. Then they could play. They were cool. And their first time they recorded the record, like nobody dug it, and so they re-recorded the whole thing, and then nobody dug it, and then they re-recorded it again, and then all of a sudden it hit. And it was like, you will like Maroon 5. But they were great, and they were a really good band, and surprisingly, nice cats. Now, the guy I was playing with was not so nice. And I quit, even after like a couple of months of just living the rock and roll dream, just all over the place. It was so much fun, but he was a real jerk. And I just called the manager one day, and I said, I'm going back to Texas. He said, well, just send me my stuff. I'll pay for it. I bought a ticket. I'm going home. And I flew home, and I was feeling really, really defeated. And I'm reminded of it now as I come back to Texas after a year and a half of being away, after 20 years of living here. And you know that thing when you get off the plane, and the pilot says, thanks for flying with us or whatever, As I'm walking off the plane kind of feeling defeated, the pilot looks at me and I kid you not, he goes, welcome back to God's country, son. And I just looked at him and I just kind of got this big smile on my face. And I was like, man. And then I got in the car with my buddy to go home and drive back to the hill country. And a radio station called KNBT out of New Braunfels was playing this song that I had written for like wayward musicians and anybody who was on the road, that they would always have a place when they came back home. And those two things together made me realize that I was back in the right place with the right people. And this is an old song of mine called Home Again. it's like to wander on a free man. Been on this road since you don't know when. You may be more lost now than you've ever been, but you will find your way home again. It was in your mind, well, to go around the world, make yourself a dollar, find yourself a girl. And if you come back wise with empty hands, or at least you'll find your way home again. Some days your sun shines, and some days it rains. You take all those moments, treasures and your pains. You can put them in your pocket, or you can throw them to the wind, but you will find your way home again. Gabriel Rhodes on that beautiful Collings guitar. So I don't know if you guys feel the same way I do, but I'm going to venture to say that some of you feel the same way I do, and that's this. During early on in the pandemic, I got really tired of the news, and I got really sick of it, and I just had to turn it off a little bit. I have a friend of mine that if he notices it, that if he sees me on my phone too much, he says, "Get out of the Church of the Poison Mind," and which is, you know, Great Boy George song from the 80s. But besides that, it's a good thing to say to remind you to not let that stuff eat your brain too much. And, you know, I talk a lot about the differences of certain things between where I am in Canada and here in the States. And one thing that's different is that it's not utopia. There's some things up there that they got right. I'm still an American. It's just, you know, they can smell it on me when I walk in just like I can see a Canadian a mile away, you know. We do the sorry standoff, Canadian standoff thing, right? No, I'm sorry. All that stuff, which is beautiful, and I love it. But up there, when you watch the news, it's the news. There's no pundits talking about the news. Like you turn on the news, and they tell you what the news is, and then they move on. It's crazy. It's like it was when we were young, you know? It was like, and I'm like, wow, this is the news, man. I'll turn on this show called, and I don't care what side of the political side you're on, it sucks on both sides, you know, as far as news is concerned. So I got really, really tired of it, and I called up that same friend of mine that loves to say, you know, get out of the church of the poison mind. And, you know, a lot of us did writing over Zoom and stuff. And he was in Marfa, and I was on Vancouver Island, and we wrote this song together. And we actually recorded it that way, too, for my Patreon page. And which is Patreon is this thing so I can put out music every month and not worry about labels. I'll tell you about that later. But we got Fran Christina from the original Fabulous Thunderbirds to play drums on it. And we made this really, really cool kind of Meters, New Orleans kind of Cabbage Alley thing. Like I was just sitting around and I like transcribed the beat to Cabbage Alley, this old Meters tune. And so maybe you can keep that in your head while we're playing it here. This is a song called Lift Me Up. Are you back there, Jacob? There's some kind of funky frequency down in the low end. I don't know if that's just on the stage with the bass trap, but I don't want to hurt anybody. Oh, I like that though. You can do that all over. Let's keep doing that for a minute. Yeah. Lift me up, don't put me down. I need to dust myself off and arise from the cold, cold ground. Don't you think we could use a little good news this time? Oh, I'm taking back reality, 'cause I don't want to live in the church of the poison mind. Funny how they say you don't know what you got till it's gone. That's what they say. We've known from the get-go what we had all along. So darling, put your hand in mine. Oh, we're gonna paint this town outside the lines. It's not there but to define. They're still selling but we're not buying. Lift me up, don't put me down. Dust myself off and arise from the cold, cold ground. Don't you think, oh, we could use a little good news this time? Oh, I'm taking back reality, 'cause I don't want to live in the church of the poison mind. Plumb out of patience for all the backstabbers and half-steppers. There's a better use of time, and I know it's not reliving or regretting. So darling, put your hand in mine. Oh, we're gonna paint this town outside the lines. It's not there but to define. They're still selling, but we're not buying. Lift me up, don't put me down. I need to dust myself off and rise from the cold, cold ground. Don't you think, oh, that we could use a little good news this time? Back reality, I don't want to live in the church of the poison mind. this town outside the lines. It's not able to define. They're still selling, but we're not buying. Lift me up, don't put me down. Lift me up, don't put me down, no. Lift me up, don't put me down. Lift me up, don't put me down, no. Lift me up, don't put me down. Lift me up, don't put me down, no. Yeah, there's a new one for you. Like I say, that's on the old Patreon page.
Were y'all imagining those drums like he told you to? I hope. Because I was.
Yeah, Patreon's cool. It's like basically any Uber fans and like people who really want to see the behind the scenes stuff. They get to know how songs are written. They get to become like a part of the whole thing. It's pretty cool, and a lot of the songs that end up on the records start out as Patreon songs, and people are kind of involved with the whole thing, and I really dig it. And I'll tell you another thing. It helped pay the bills a lot during the pandemic when so many of us couldn't gig. Musicians, we were pretty resilient. We all figured out stuff to do as much as we could. We were lucky in that respect. But it's pretty wild, like showing up to a gig with like t-shirts and hats and magnets and stickers. It's like, oh, I forgot about all this stuff, you know? And since we don't really sell as many albums as we used to, you know, because of Spotify and all those kind of things, which are fine. We have some Spotify listeners in here. We got a couple Spotify people. Cool. Some Apple Musics. Okay, so you open your phone out right now, and then you, oh no, I tried. But it doesn't, you know, because the thing is, you know, when you play a song on Spotify, you get 0.0003 cents. Okay. So, you know, it doesn't really do much for you. I know, it doesn't really do much for you. But the thing that I love about Spotify is the sharing. Like, I do really dig the stuff that, like, people make playlists and they put your music next to other music and people hear you that never would. There's a band called Wolfpack. And when they first figured out, it was before they figured out the whole algorithm thing, they would have their entire audience put on their music when they went to sleep and turn the volume down. And they like game stopped Spotify, basically. and they figured out enough, and they made enough money to make 2 records, and they called the first one Sleepify. I mean, come on. Brilliant, right? Super smart. But then Spotify got wise to it, and now it doesn't matter. But what they do like, so if you like somebody, I don't care if it's me, I don't care who it is, on Apple Music or on Spotify, make sure you hit like the heart by the song and you follow that person, because Spotify wants to know you're bringing people to the platform. Otherwise, doesn't do much for them. So that's my public service announcement about that. But what I like about the Patreon page is I don't have to worry about any of that stuff, and I give you new music every month, and I don't have to worry about what bin it's going in or what label. And 1 month I'll work with one person and I'll do a funk tune, and then the next month I'll do a folk tune, and I've done just so many cool projects through it. But that was one of them, and we did sort of a Meters-style Cajun funky song. Sometimes, you know, I do one original and one cover every month, and that's how I started the Covered Uncovered thing too. This is a song that's on my first volume of Covered Uncovered. And it's a song by a lesser-known Canadian artist that you may or may not have heard of. My wife says that my sarcasm doesn't come off like sarcasm. But you may or may not have heard of this Canadian artist.
That's what I figured.
comes a time when you're drifting, comes a time when you settle down, comes a light, feelings left in, lift that baby right up off the ground. Oh, this old world keeps spinning round. It's a wonder tall trees ain't laying down. There comes a time you and I, we were captured. We took our souls and we flew away. We were right, we were giving. That's how we kept what we gave away. Oh, this old world keeps spinning round. It's a wonder tall trees ain't laying down. There comes a time a time. I have to say, rehearsal is highly overrated. I got back, and one of the first things that Gabriel and I did before we even played a gig and before we even did a rehearsal was we got in his music studio and we did a Zoom interview for KPFT here. And do please support public radio. I don't care if you listen to hip-hop or pop music or whatever. Public radio around here, that station has got a long, wonderful, wonderful history. It also, on top of being a great place for showcasing new music of every kind that you can possibly imagine, they also have an incredible track record with civil rights and being involved with some pretty important things over the years. Yeah, and that is worth clapping. They have this, what is it, a generator or a transformer called Sparky? It's a transmitter. Okay, so they got bombed by the KKK twice. And they kept the transmitter as sort of like this badge of honor, and they named it Sparky. And it's like you go in there, and there's like a little bit of a shrine to all this stuff and the work that they've done. And I don't know, man, it's pretty righteous and pretty cool. So not only is it good to support public radio because, you know, artists that you never heard of will get heard, but they do a lot of good work for the Houston community as well. So, but we got in there and we did this Zoom interview and we started playing songs that we have never played before. And I had been, up in Canada and not really playing anything but like live streams by myself. And I was like, oh, playing music with another human being and the
novel concept,
wow, this is, I forgot how fun this was, and it really was, man. And I'm really grateful to play songs with Gabriel. And so please give him a round of applause. As we like to say in the business, he does not suck.
I was just sitting out in the car waiting for to come in and play this, and just watching one gig after the next get canceled.
Is that right?
Like, damn it. Well, it was fun while it was lasting.
Oh, is that? You mean like you have gigs being canceled right now?
As we speak.
So many of my gigs, thankfully. Okay, so I'm here for like 3 weeks, and in the 3 weeks that I'm here before I go back to Canada, if they let me back in, I have 16 gigs in 21 days. And it was like, man, I got to do it. It's just I miss everybody. A lot of them are moved outside. A lot of them we found another venue. I played a house concert that we moved to an outdoor venue, and we had 48 people, and they paid their ticket price, and every single one of them sent in an email of their vaccine card or showed it when they got there. And nobody had a problem with that. Nobody had any problem with that at all. And it was great. And everybody felt really comfortable. And it doesn't have to be. That is another thing that up in Canada, there's been a lot less death. There has, And I mean, you can think whatever you want, but it's kind of nice that regardless of political party or affiliation, the conservatives, whatever, everybody just masked up. Like, I never had a problem going to the grocery store there the whole time. Everybody has just kind of done their thing, and no matter what you think about it, it's like, okay. We have this gal named, this incredible virologist who's sort of our Anthony Fauci. Her name is Dr. Bonnie Henry, and she would come out every day at 3 o'clock, and she would say, these are the restrictions right now, and Canadians in true Canadian fashion would all just go, okay. And that was it.
Well, that's the old joke. How do you get 100 Canadians out of the swimming pool? Say, could you guys please get out of the swimming pool?
Yeah, it's pretty cool, though. And it makes a big difference. I remember seeing an anti-vaxxer in front of City Hall. It was one guy with a sign. That was it. It's like one guy. And I'm sorry, it's just, there's no conspiracy to put chips in you. If anybody wants to track you, they're already tracking you with your cell phone. Like, it's like, we're already all tracked people, So, speaking of homecoming, let's do this. No, let's do G. I'm just going to make it even easier. It might be a little harder for me to sing, but that's okay. This is about how I used to travel back and forth between BC and Texas. When I got married, man, it was like I love being on the road, but I love being at home, and man, I love being on the road, but actually home is kind of nice now too, And so that's kind of where this song came from. Driving, I've been riding, I've been beating the pavement, Oakland to New Orleans. I've been biting, I've been hiding the nails off my fingers, trying to figure out what it means. But the road's been good to me, Lord, I can't complain. Yes, the road is all I know. Without it, I wouldn't be the same. But as I roll on down, flying and defying, my heart stays the same. If I don't get home before the sun, girl, it'd be a crying shame. Well, it's it's hard, and it's a pity when you get what you ask, and it wasn't what you wanted all along. You wake up and then shake up, and you come to find you've been going about it all wrong. But the road's been good to me. Lord, it's been my teacher and my friend. Yes, the road is all I know. Right now, I won't see you again. But it's a long, long way from TX to BC, and I'm counting every single mile. I'm gonna get back to you. We're gonna do the things we do. I can't wait to see you smile. Homecoming, yeah, I'm homecoming. Whoa, I'm coming home. I'm homecoming. Come on, Gabriel. Oh, how I miss my sweet one waiting, still anticipating the day I'll return. When I lay down my boots right next to my roots, Lord, I'm feeling loved. Homecoming, yeah, I'm homecoming. I'm coming home. I'm homecoming. But the road's been good to me. I'm coming home. Getting on home. Yes, the road is all I know. Coming home. Homecoming. It's fun playing that song in Canada. They say, "Oh, did you actually say BC?" Because it is. It's a long road. My wife and I, like pre-COVID, we would drive with our dogs all the way from Texas to Vancouver Island, which is about, it's like 4 days if you're not rushing, and we would always take a different route, and it would be really, really fun, because like one year we would go through Yellowstone, and one year we'd go through Joshua Tree, and one year we'd go through whatever, and it just became this beautiful thing. Plus we'd get to connect, because I'm hustling pretty hard when I'm on the road, and she's a gardener and a horticulturalist and an arborist, and she's pretty busy with her art, and that's that. And we would always kind of reconnect on these trips, and then when COVID hit, our summer getaway place on Vancouver Island, which is a one-bedroom house with me, my wife, and my 2 dogs, became our setup place for a year and a half. My poor wife. It was like great for me. I was like, I'm off the road. I gotta save my marriage office, like downtown, and like I would walk downtown with a little lunch pail, and I'd get there at like 8 or 9 o'clock, and I'd sit there and I would just like write songs with people from all over the world. Really, it became like my little Brill building, and I was just writing with everybody, on Zoom and stuff like that. It was brilliant, and But when I was like doing shows in the living room, it was like, oh my God, you're doing another live stream. You know, the poor woman, you know, and she just didn't have any place to go to get the away from me. We were in the, seriously, she couldn't get away from me, you know, and no matter how much you love somebody, it's gonna get old, you know? And like, I remember we were in the grocery store, and we're in the grocery store one day, and I'm trying to make her laugh about something, you know? And she just looks at me and she goes, it's been a while since anyone's applauded for you, isn't that true, Jeff? And I just went, oh, man. Yeah. She wasn't trying to make me feel bad. She was just like, nobody's really clapping for you right now, huh? You really, really want to make me laugh. Like, really bad.
Hey, can you turn this up a little bit? It seems to have just gone away altogether. Hello. Hey, sorry.
No, don't be. Don't be. I want you to hear, especially when you play like that. Gabriel Rhodes, everybody. Hey, while you're here, thanks for everybody. It's so great. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but we're doing this live from Norfolk things, which is such a great service to musicians, because doing a live stream from here for all the people that see me all over the place, it's so cool because it's with great sound. Thank you, Jacob, on the great sound over there. Everybody give him a round of applause, too. Couple of things. Your sound person is generally your unsung hero of every show, because without the sound person, you'd sound like... And so, and generally what happens is, tell me if this is right, Jacob. You'll do a night, and there'll be, 3 bands. And the first band will be, 2 ukuleles and a bass. And then the second band will be, a 16-piece Dead cover band. And then the third band will be, a rock thing. And there'll be, some guitar player like me looking at his gear going, I don't know, man, it worked last night. You know what I'm talking about. That was your Friday. See? It was exactly it. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. I want you to know that tonight, if you guys want, when you're thinking about grabbing some merch or something, if you really like the way it sounds in here tonight, it's not unheard of to tip a sound person. You can do that. And it makes their night. They're like, oh, man, somebody actually gave a crap about what I was doing to help that guy up there sound decent. But the other thing I want to mention, too, is in my list of grateful... I'll do the next one later. I'll do the more gratitude later, so you don't think I'm just pandering. So back to my wife. I'm up in Vancouver Island, and my wife has the truck, and I've got the little Econo box because I want to save money on gas when I'm on the road. And like I said, she's a horticulturalist and a gardener. She lives in dirt. I asked my wife what she wanted for her birthday. She's like, dirt. I was like, cool. What else? She's like, rocks. I was like, you are so hot right now, you know? She could drive a backhoe, but she looks great in a cocktail dress. She can jumpstart a chainsaw. Come on. Anyway, I love my wife very much. You're right. It's hot. Come on. Is that your wife, too? You feel me? Okay, cool. Oh, right on. I mean, I don't know. I love that, my wife, when we're walking someplace, she'll, grab a leaf, and she'll crumple it up and, stick it in my face, and she'll go, smell this, it smells like coconuts. How do you know that? You know, and then she'll say the Latin name of it, you know, and she'll be like, oh, this is Pithancopus borrecapus. And I'll be like, you made that up. You know, but she knows these things, and it's been a really good influence on me. So nature and her love of nature is kind of seeped into my music, and it's seeped into my writing. And on the last Covered Uncovered album, I had this song called Bird Out on 9th. We live on 9th Avenue beneath our 93-year-old beautiful Scottish grandmother's house. She's 93. She's lived in Canada all her life, and she has not lost one iota of her accent. Not even the littlest bit. She doesn't sound Canadian. She sounds very Scottish. And she's a really wonderful lady. We come home one day, and I hear this little bird. And the bird's going I was like, oh, that's cool. And I whistled back to the bird. I went, you know. And then we started this little conversation, me and this bird. My wife's like, what are you doing? You're so weird. And she's right. And I was like, I'm just having a little conversation with the bird. And she's like, oh, okay. And then I go in and I grab a guitar off the wall. And I was like, that's a cool. And I went, bet he knows a thing or two in the cool shade of a lazy dogwood tree. You hear it in his lonesome tune, long stretched shadow of the afternoon, a taste of everything wild and free. Southern flying away, soon I'll be far from this sleepy northern sea. Southern flying away. Evening when the tide is high, strolling with her by my side, and every turn a perfect work of art. When I see the world through her brown eyes, curtains open on a new sunrise, the myth that sings straight into my heart. Southern flying away, soon I'll be far from this sleepy northern sea. Southern flying away. Southern flying away, soon I'll be far from this sleepy northern sea. Southern flying away, soon I'll be far from the sleepy northern sea. Southern flying away. Also co-wrote that with Gabriel Rhodes and Michael Fracasso. I was in a hotel room in Denver, Colorado, and called him and Michael Fracasso. Help me finish that, and kind of added that whole mythology of the bird thing, and just really helped that song come to life. You guys don't know sometimes, you know, you're up here with somebody and he's like, you know, or she's like, kind of like, you know, I've been in that spot, and you yes sir, no sir. You don't do that to me, and that's okay. But you know, you just you know, make the person sound better.
I would try.
And then they don't necessarily know how much you've produced or song written or worked on. And I highly recommend you look up our friend Gabriel Rhodes. In fact, I don't know if you're interested, and I'm going to put you on the spot right now, and you can say no if you want to, but you won't. But why don't you do that song that we wrote for the Sleeping Dogs album? Do you think you could pull off Further to Fall? Okay, would you guys be interested in hearing Gabriel do a song that I recorded this for an album, and it's a real gift when somebody says, "Hey, I got this song in mind for you," and it's really, really cool. And that's what happened with this. But I equally love the way Gabriel does it, every bit as much as I love singing it myself. And so we're going to do that for you. I'm just going to kind of lay back. Gabriel Rhodes.
What's the first words? All is quiet. Okay. Hey, could you please turn this up some more? Especially for this song. Hey, 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 hey. Not the guitar, the vocal. All right.
You got it, man. I'll just kind of hang out for a minute.
All is quiet. The storm is gone. Time to sift through the rubble, see what is lost and move on. Looking around, might seem we lost it all, but fools can always find a little further to fall, a little further to fall. Out of danger, no need for concern. Why even ask? There's no lesson to be learned. Paper cut houses, built them up too tall, but fools can always find ways to make them fall. Further too far. Hard luck, bad luck, no luck at all. We still got a little further too far. I started remembering it there towards the end. I would do anything for you, Jeff. Even pull my ass out and show it.
I think that's basically we drop you in the grease kind of moment. Okay, so when I first moved to Texas 21 years ago, I'm not fooling anybody. I had somebody recently, I got to do a photo shoot this weekend, and I am so tired of people not letting me age gracefully. I mean, you're not fooling anybody. Like the guys that I play with that are my age, that are dyeing their hair and wearing skinny jeans, you're not fooling anybody, man. Like, seriously, please let me age gracefully. I'm not dyeing my beard. I'm not, and if you do that, cool. It's not a big deal. It's not what I'm saying. Just I had this lady say, "Oh, you should dye your beard." I was like, "What?" No, thank you. I don't have a major label to answer to, so I couldn't care less. And I'm married. Who do I have to impress? I want to look good for her, but I don't. She didn't care about that. presentable, classy, aging gracefully. These are the things I want them to say. Anyway.
You wanted dirt for your birthday? Here he is.
You want dirt? Here you go, baby. It's right here. No, but anyway, you know what I mean, guys? You know, like, I mean, you're not fooling anybody, man. But anyway, that's their prerogative. And more power to them. Relive their wasted youth. So I moved to Texas in the year 2000 at the urging of a guy named Ray Wiley Hubbard, and I lived with Ray when I first moved here, and he's been a wonderful mentor to me in many, 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 many ways. About 2.5 months after I moved here, his wife Judy was like, just taking out the garbage is not enough for you to stay a tenant. So it's time for you to find a place. And I found this little shack down the road in Wimberley, Texas that I could rent for a couple $100 a month, and I started living in this shack. And I started working at an open mic where I was writing all the songs for my very first album. And I'd go play this open mic for like $50 a month. You wouldn't believe the people that came to this open mic. Ryan Bingham came in when he couldn't even play. He had like a Seagull guitar, you know, like all these people. And like, I didn't care. I didn't know he was going to turn into anything. He was just this nice kid, you know, with a good voice, couldn't play yet. You know, and it's like, I gave everybody their chance. I gave them 3 songs. I don't care who you are, you get your 3 songs, whatever. And I would try out my songs. So I didn't have a box like this. I didn't have a guitar like this, you know, to write songs on. All I had was a slide guitar. So I come home one day to my little shack in Wimberley, Texas, and there's a big box on the doorstep just waiting there for me. And I was like, no. And I bring it inside, and I open the box, and there's a guitar case. And I'm like, whoa. And I open it up, and I see this guitar. And I see inside the case, there's a little note, and it says, "Happy birthday, signed your guardian angel." Now, on the box, there's a thing that says straight music from Austin. And I go from Wimberley, and I drive. When I came to Texas, I had $100 and a Geo Prism. Do you guys remember what a Geo Prism was? That's the kind of car that if you at 15 miles an hour into mailbox, you got a good chance, might live, might not. Okay? And so I take my Geo Prism up to Austin to Straight Music, and I say, hey, someone bought me a guitar from here. And the guy behind the counter and the other guy next to him go, oh, you're the guy. And I was like, yeah, I'm the guy. Who bought me the guitar? And they said, we can't tell you. And I said, why not? And they said, because the person said that if you knew, you'd know it was too much money and you wouldn't accept it. And in that little moment, I learned so much. Like, if you ever wanted a better lesson about gift giving and not expecting anything in return, imagine that. Imagine what that taught me in that little moment. So I never really found out. I've had a lot of people jokingly claim they bought this for me. The other thing I love about this guitar that I haven't played in a year and a half because it's been here while I've been in Canada. Okay, so this guitar it was borrowed by my friend Pat Byrne for a while, and he didn't have a guitar, so I got to loan it out to him until he bought one, and he loved it too, and spent a lot of time with it, and I don't know where I was going with that, but the long story short is it's not a flashy guitar. It's just what you need and nothing else. There's no fancy inlays. It's just a really, really, really good box, you know? And somebody who bought it for me knew that. I don't know if they were a musician or they just knew what I liked. They knew that. Well, a couple years later, somebody asked me to write a song for this thing called the Acoustic Guitar Project. And I said, has anybody ever written about their guitar? And they said, no. And I said, well, that just seems like low-hanging fruit to me. And they said, okay, we'll write about your guitar. So I wrote this song in about 20 minutes about, you know, this guitar and just like the feeling of gratitude I had from it. And when I was doing my Sleeping Dogs record, my co-producer, Scrappy Judd Newcomb, said, hey, man, what about that song about the guitar? And I said, really? You know, because I was totally surprised. And he said, yeah, give it a shot. And I went in and I recorded it. It's the only solo song on the whole full band album. But if you feel like playing, it's up to you.
Because I have no idea what you're about to do.
Oh, okay. All right.
Much so this, like I haven't the whole
maybe
time.
Maybe a solo song if you want. You know, it's really up to you, man. This guitar, well, it's been around, it's traveled hard, gone town to town. It's seen some hard times, it's seen some lights, it's told the truth, oh, fought the good fight. This guitar, well, it don't belong to me. It's for all to hear and see. And I'd never claim to be the star when I owe it all to this guitar. 'Cause when the melody moves you, you wanna sing along. This guitar will bring you in to where nothing's wrong, to make the night shine brighter or tear the clouds from the moon. This guitar will be your guideline and get you home soon. When wood and wire combine with a poet's steady hand, this guitar's always out to make a mighty stand and to shake the whole foundation or quietly testify. This guitar can sweetly sing to you a needed lullaby. This guitar, well, it's all I have. It speaks for me, it tells it loud. I have some friends near and far, and they all know me and this guitar. Oh, look at this. Yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah, that's what a great song.
I paid him $50 to do that. So here's another quick cover from, I don't do a lot of covers, and it used to be was I daunted when I first started songwriting because of all these great people that I played with, and I don't know if anybody wants to hear my stuff, blah, blah, blah. And I got over that pretty fast, especially when stuff started getting played on the radio. Very humbling. Saying, I can't play that gig because I got my own. But now I'm at the point where I got more songs than I can play in a night, and I'm like, what do I play tonight? And I try and vibe with the crowd and figure out what to play, things like that. Because set lists are only there to have something to deviate from, And but in doing this Covered Uncovered project, I had a gig where somebody wanted me to learn a Beatles tune. And I'm like, oh, God, you learn a Beatles tune. It's like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do it better? Probably not, But there was this one song that was really, I always thought the lyrics were kind of dire and kind of spooky, but it was kind of a rock song on the album. So I stumbled haphazardly into this version of this song. Oh, he's ready. Look at this guy. And I hope you like it. Here's an old Beatles tune for another cover tonight. A rare cover. Let's see if I can get into it right. It's been a long time. Now I'm coming back home. I've been away now. Oh, how I've been alone. Wait till I come back to your side. We'll forget the tears we've cried. But if your heart breaks, don't wait, turn me away. And if your heart's strong, hold on, I won't delay. Wait till I come back to your side. We'll forget the tears we've cried. I feel as though you ought to know I've been good, good as I can be. And if you do, I'll trust in you. Know that you will wait for me. It's been a long time. Now I'm coming back home. I've been away now. Oh, how I've been alone. Wait till I come back to your side. We'll forget the tears we've cried. I feel as though you ought to know that I've been good, good as I can be. And if you do, I'll trust in you to know that you will wait for me. But if your heart breaks, don't wait, turn me away. And if your heart's strong, hold on, oh, I won't delay. Wait till I come back to your side. We'll forget the tears we've cried. It's been a long time. Now I'm coming back home. I've been away now. Oh, how I've been alone. Brilliant slide playing right there. Hey, everyone. You can keep these live streams coming by becoming a supporting member of livefromnorfolkstreet.com. In fact, Jacob, will you bring me that for a second?
Live from norfolkstreet.com.
Hey, everyone. You can keep these live streams coming by becoming a supporting member of livefromnorfolkstreet.com.
And you know, the way things are headed, live streams might be all you have.
I mean, for the way things are headed, right? Here, let's do it. Let's do a couple more on guitar and a couple more on slide.
Captain Buzzkill there.
Oh, no, it's all right. It's all right. Well, that's usually my job.
Yeah.
Don't call us singer-song whiners for nothing.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, because you know how it is. You know, you get... I just didn't want to be a singer-song whiner anymore. That's what I call it. Because it's like people pay $20, $25 to come into a show, and then you just get up on stage and you whine about your problems. It's like first I tried co-writing, and then I was just whining about somebody else's problems. That didn't work. And so I just started writing songs that were a little bit more positive, and it's like usually when you're happy, you don't want to sit down and write a song about it. That's not usually the way it works. But I needed that uplift, and that's where songs like this came from. This is a real one that I had a lot of fun recording in the studio because the idea came from this old Toots and the Maytals song, which is a reggae song called Pressure Drop. And the bass line was stuck in my head. It was like boom, 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 boom. You know that song? It is you. right? It was stuck in my head, and I was like, I need something like that. And I had this image of like sleeping dogs, and I wanted to let the sleeping dogs lie, and I wanted to like get better at all these things that I was really, really bad at. I know, it's such a surprise that an artist is sensitive. But I wanted to just like go out and tour this song and sing it over and over again. Every verse is like something that I'm kind of crappy at that I wanted to get better about. Like wearing my heart on my sleeve and taking things too personally and you know, you'd think by 48, whatever. Anyway, so I put this song on the album, and it was a big hit in Austin, and they played it on the radio so much that a manager friend of mine said, I'm so sick of hearing that song in Austin. And I was like, you know what, that's a good problem to have. So, you know what, it's like, I don't even care because they played it so much. But when I went in the studio, my co-producer was like, cool reggae. And I was like, no. And he said, why not? And I was like, oh, man, I don't want to feel like a poser. I was like, let's figure out how, like, Tom Petty would do it or, like, the Rolling Stones would do it. And the first thing Scrappy Judd did was he was like, you know, and I was like, that's what I want. And so here's the song. Let me start a little, not too fast. Yeah. Used to worry about everything, what you thought, what you think. Now I know I do what's right. I let the sleeping dogs lie. Every time I fall down, I once again feel the cold ground. Get up, believe it, and I go on trying, and let the sleeping dogs lie. So I let the sleeping dogs lie. Once you had me in your claws, never knew what was the cause, but I let go, I ceased to fight, and let the sleeping dogs lie. You say something's behind my back, well, I'm not so concerned with that. Your problem has never been mine. I let the sleeping dogs lie. I let the sleeping dogs lie. So I let the sleeping dogs lie. For someone to blame, that's exactly when I lost the game. No more tears come from my eyes. I let the sleeping dogs lie. I see it clearly coming through the mist. Where to finally be done with this illusion of power, it fades with time if you let the sleeping dogs lie. So I let the sleeping dogs lie. Yeah, so I let the sleeping dogs lie. So I let the sleeping dogs lie. So I, yeah, you get the idea by now. She has a heart so true and kind, but what I love is a beautiful mind. All them troubles we can leave behind, and let the sleeping dogs lie. Yeah. I had to do a razzle dazzle.
Razzle dazzle, mother.
Yeah, right. I wrote this song after the Pulse nightclub shooting, which was just an awful, awful thing. In fact, I just want to say this, you know, I'm pretty sure that when people walk in and they see me for the first time, the first thing that you guys think is, I'll bet that guy is really into musical theater. No? No, okay. So this is inspired by Lin-Manuel Miranda because he gave a speech after the Pulse nightclub shooting that was just beautiful. It was like on the Tonys or something. Nothing against Hamilton or anything like that. I'm more of a singing in the rain kind of guy. And but it went viral, and that's how I saw it. And at the end of it, he said this thing that all the old hippies used to say when I was a kid. And I was like, man, in 2017, when I wrote this song, I was like, it's a shame that we have to say this at all, because we should know better. We should really, really know better by now. But if we have to, then I wanted to make a song out of it. And, well, that's what this is. Jimmy fell hard for Jenny. Jamie fell in love with Jay. You can't choose with whom you fall. I think it's better that way. Could be a chemical thing, maybe cosmic and such. Try as you might to clearly define, well, you won't come back with much. Love is love, is love. Love is love, is love. Try to change love, give conditions and rules. They try to tell you that they know better. Well, tell you your love ain't cool, no. Love don't matter, you know. Love don't know about race. Love don't care now where you may come from. Love doesn't need to explain, no. Love is love, is love. Love is love, is love. You first, man. Go ahead. Gabriel Rhodes on the guitar right there. Okay, it's gonna get a little weird. Probably should not encourage me on that. You put it on one song on one album, and then you got to bring it out for the rest of your life every night. We are born knowing love, have to be taught how to hate. Let go of all your preconceived notions. Well, you only need to relate. Come take a seat at the table. Break some bread, make a new friend. In time you'll find forgiveness and kindness is all you ever needed. Love is love is love is love. Love is love as love as love. Love is love as love as love. Love is love is love. And it is, I promise. All right. So we're gonna just wrap this up with a couple more songs. It's really been our honor to come and play for you folks. Okay, so now I'm gonna do the other thing that I'm really grateful for, and what I'm grateful for is wait staff. Please, just tip like there were 3 people here. Tip well. It comes back to you. Please, it just means the world to me. They take care of us, and if you ever spend a lot of time on the road, you realize that that's such a big thing. It's such a big part of what they do, and it's tough keeping the duck open through this time. McGonagall's Monkey Duck has done so many things for their servers. Also, can someone please tell me again, Susan, tell me the... Feed the front line. That's what I wanted to mention. Where are the proceeds coming from? Okay, that's right. Okay, and so it's just things like that, helping out musicians, keeping wait staff working during this crazy time. I don't know. Just come and support. Get takeout meals. Tip your bartenders and servers. I like what Susan Gibson says. If the guy you're with doesn't tip, he's not worth going home with. I mean, you can probably, or your partner or significant other as well. So I have a friend in the audience, and his name is Ryan Krebs. Hello, Ryan. Awkward? This is my friend Ryan, everybody. So I'm going to tell you a little story. My budding solo career, which has actually turned out great. I started my solo career at the ripe age of 43. I'm 48 now and kind of kicking ass. But back before I got married and before I got my act together in a lot of ways, Ryan lived in the apartment up from me, and as well, we were in this rock and roll band, and Ryan was the lighting director. And which meant that he rolled up unrolled the curtain that had Christmas lights attached to it and flicked them on and off during the show. But he lived in the apartment above me, and I went up to his apartment one day. We were hanging out, and I said, "What's that?" And he said, "Oh, that's my book of poetry." And he goes, "You don't want to look at that?" And I went, "Yes, I do." And because I'm always looking for somebody to rip off, right? And so then I started looking, and I said, "Ryan, these kind of look like songs." And he said, "Yeah." And I saw some guitars lying around, and he said, "Yeah." And I said, "Well, let's try and write together." By far the most play I've ever gotten out of any songs from any of my albums. I mean, it's close now. It's almost close with Love Is Love and Sleeping Dogs, and now with the Beatles tune. It's getting there. But the one that really started was the main song that we wrote together. And I called him one night and I said, "Man, I got this song. It's just beating a hole in me. I got an idea for a song." And I went upstairs. I even still have like the little voice memo on my Mac because it goes from iCloud to iCloud and stuff. I still have it from when we wrote it. And a couple hours later, we had this song. I remember the first time I played this song in front of an audience at the Saxon Pub. And I was coming into my own as a songwriter. It was the first time I ever had an audience applaud before the solo. Like, I played the bridge, and they all went, yeah! It was like this whole group of people were like, you're doing it, man! You know? And it was really kind of rewarding and stuff. So I go and I visit my mom in Ohio, and my mom wants to hear the song that's on the radio. And she talks me into it, and I play, because I didn't want to play her a sad song, you know? It's 5 minutes and 40 seconds long, for crying out loud, too. I can't believe it got on the radio. And I play this song for my mom, and I get done, and my mom says, Jeffrey, which she can do. She said, Jeffrey, that was beautiful. I said, thanks, Mom. And she goes, can I ask you a question? I said, of course. And she goes, are you okay? And I said, yeah, Mom. I said, not every song is completely autobiographical, but I should have told her it was a co-write. Then I could have blamed it on you. This is not my song. I'm just holding it for a friend, you know. Anyway, this is the song that got me started, and thanks, Ryan, for all that. You never know who you're going to write with. If you're a musician, don't, you know, think, you can write with anybody. You know, and you play guitar and you do this stuff, but it wasn't what you did for a living. Also, I joke about him being a lighting director. You became like, you know, your next job was at the Chicago Convention Center, you know, doing lighting. He actually had talent. I didn't know that. Like, he actually knew how to do lights. He's just this guy on the road that I knew, you know. I had no idea. He knew how to do, like, algebra. This is the song. I send this one out to Pat Marshall, too. Louisiana is my home. I drink my whiskey all alone. Temptation got me on the run. But mama's son don't hurt no one. Don't want no trouble. Trouble find me. Trouble find me. When nothing going right and no hope is left inside, I should be praying to the Lord. Don't want to bother him tonight. Oh, and I don't want no trouble. Don't want no trouble. But you know trouble find me. Trouble find wanna be where I've been or will be. 'Cause when I'm down, and I'm always down, trouble find me. I can't take it no more. All this knock, knock, knocking on my door. Nothing's on the other side. But still I'm always open. Oh, and I don't want no trouble, no. Trouble, yeah, but trouble find me. Trouble find me. Come on, trouble find me. Yeah, trouble find me. Thanks very much, everybody. Hey, I don't want to do that. Oh, first of all, I played that song at a house concert in Long Island, and I got done, and a lady who was sitting, I don't know, right about where you are, Vern, she goes, I can see why your mother was worried. I was like, yeah, you got it, honey. That was cool. All right, so we're not gonna do that thing where you like walk off and come back. We're not gonna milk you. We're just gonna do our last song right now and consider it the encore and be really, really grateful for everybody sticking around and enjoying the music. I will say that I do have some merch. I've got the softest T-shirts you'll ever touch. It's true. It's true. My wife and all of her friends were walking around with these Lucy's Fried Chicken T-shirts on, and I was like, baby, what's the deal with the Lucy's